Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for another very special edition of WOWSA Live with our host, Ned Denison, and a very special guest. Ned?
Hello, everybody. I'm the chairperson of the International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame. We have an honoree with us today. Stephen Munatonis has described his win in the 2008 Beijing Olympics as the most impactful event in the history of open water swimming. Maarten, I'm going to bring you back to that swim. The last 400 meters, it looked to me like David Davies was ahead, Lurs was coming on, and all of a sudden, you just destroyed them. Why you in the last 400 meters?
Yeah, I think what happens those last 400 meters, I think I almost settled for silver, and I was just being first in the second pack. And I thought David Davies, as being the fastest swimmer of us all, because he was a medalist in the 1500 meter freestyle in the swimming pool, we will not be able to catch him. So I was almost settled for silver and swimming for that. But getting closer to the finish line, the gap between us and David was not increasing, but it was decreasing. So all of a sudden, there was a chance, and I was not sure where it was coming from because it was not a very logic thing. My best time on the 1500 meter freestyle was 15 minutes, long course, 42 seconds. I could have been a little bit faster, but I was not very fast. And David Davies, well below under 15 minutes, was so much faster. But all of a sudden, the gap was decreased. So I decided to try to catch and jump on his feet, and I managed to do so. Thomas Lutz was behind me, and he was like 6 or 7 times world champion, and I always was on world championships 7th or 8th or 6th. I was not one of the favorites for the Beijing Olympics. Australian bookmakers had me on 1:2:40. But me, Thomas, and David were going for the finish line. Thomas was trying to get away from us and was choosing for the other side. David was moving to the other side as well. And all of a sudden, my way to the finish line was shorter. And all of a sudden, I was the guy finishing first.
And any reaction from the world after you finished?
Yeah, I think it changed. So I knew my chances were small. I talked to a lot of swimmers or athletes who go in the Olympics and are absolutely sure that they will win that Olympic gold medal. I was not like that. I knew that my chances were quite small. It felt almost like unreal or something that I was touching the board first. And all of a sudden, that dream came true, and I was Olympic champion.
I think you said in the interviews you got a few text messages, got some coverage in the Netherlands. Tell us about the whirlwind you woke up to.
Yeah, well, it was, I think, in the Netherlands that there was a little bit more impact because I was the only male Olympic champion in 2008. And 7 years before winning that Olympic gold, I was diagnosed leukemia. So that personal story from being diagnosed leukemia and then still be able to win that Olympic gold medal was quite a story that a lot of people could relate to. So yeah, quite some media attention, and I was able to tell how that happened.
You did a TED talk, and you had a theme of the TED talk that a man believes what he wants to believe and disregards the rest. And then you talked about your friends who were also suffering from leukemia. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think it will surprise people what your view on that is.
Yeah, what I always find very important to tell people is that people tend to think that I'm such a fighter to win Olympic gold, so I must have been a fighter in the hospital as well. And then I tell them that I was the most lazy patient they could imagine. And I was just laying in a hospital bed, and a lot of fellow patients, they were doing fitness courses, trying to stay fit for the next chemotherapy. I was not like that. I was the most lazy patient that you can imagine. And all of a sudden, all the journalists and media were saying, well, you're such a fighter because you fought back after leukemia, and now you fought through Olympic gold. And I said, well, I was not a fighter in the hospital. I was lucky. I was lucky that the chemotherapy helped. And if you tell me that I must be such a fighter to win cancer, it almost hurts me, because all those fellow patients that wanting to live as well, and they were some sort of fighting their disease as well, they did not have the luck to recover. And by saying that I fought cancer and I won, you almost say that my fellow patients did not fight hard enough. So I did not fight and win. I was the lucky one, where the chemotherapy worked and I could just continue my life.
You were the Dutch 1500 meter champion 1998 to 2000. You had just started in the professional career, and you leukemia, and you recovered. Tell us about coming back. Was it always something you wanted to do, or did you just kind of fall back into the swimming?
No, I would not describe it as fall back, because if when I was diagnosed leukemia, I was already swimming for quite a lot of hours. I was doing world championships, Hawaii, open water, what was beautiful. I finished 9th, I think. And being in the hospital bed, I look back at my childhood and always many hours of swimming, and it didn't feel valuable at me laying in the hospital bed, because what's the value of swimming as fast as you can? There's no value in doing that. So I decided, if I had the luck to recover, I would spend my life every day like it's my last day, and I would not spend it on swimming anymore. I would not spend it on setting goals and trying to achieve those goals. But I realized after I had the luck to recover that if you live every day like it's your last day, then every day is the same. And I was bored very quickly. So then I understood that setting goals and trying to achieve those goals was a thing I really enjoyed to do. And that's why I got back into swimming. And the first couple of weeks after, I could not do a thing. I had a stem cell transplant, and my body was devastated by the chemotherapies. And if I was able to sit for 5 minutes a day, it was quite a long time. But those 5 minutes became 10 minutes, became 50 minutes, became half an hour. And then I got back in the swimming pool. And the first 100 meters I swam. Well, my daughter wants some attention as well.
Hello.
Maybe you can wave at the camera.
Hello.
Ze spreken Engels, moet je zeggen, I am Filijne.
I am Ned.
Dat is grappig. Kun je het aan mama vragen? Papa is even bezig. Ja.
Fabulous.
Nee, maar papa is even bezig. Papa is aan het werk. Nee, papa is even aan het werk. Je moet het even aan mama vragen. Wacht op papa. Wacht op papa. En dan moet je... Oh, en ik moet het even doen. De laatste, als het niet lukt, dan moet je even terug naar mama. Hè?
We had Damien's daughter was on earlier. I was going to, Maarten, I was going to talk to you about your charity work, but I don't know. I mean, you know, she's crying now.
We don't have time for that anymore. Yeah. The first time in the water, I was swimming 100 freestyle all out, and my time was 1 minute and 37 seconds. And the strange thing is that it quite sucked. But next week I was trying again, and I was a little bit faster. So by increasing my speed, I really enjoyed that game of becoming faster. Het is... Ja, maar schat, papa is aan het werk.
Hi, Suzanne.
Ja, doe het even niet. Nee, maar dan moet je even wachten. Papa doet het zo. Maar dat doet papa toch? Maar hij doet het niet, kijk.
I think this shows that you can be the Olympic gold medalist, but sometimes you're just the father.
Ja. Ja, lukt die? En nu moet papa even werken, oké? Okay?
Did you remind her that you're the Olympic gold medalist?
Well, but I have two of those beautiful girls. So she's 5, and my youngest is only 3 years old. So that's a lot of fun. So I got back in the water, and I was not thinking about winning Olympic gold. I enjoyed setting goals and increasing my speed, and almost by accident, that ended up in winning Olympic gold.
One of the things that, looking at your record, that really caught my eye was you won the IJsselmeer long before the Olympics, and you donated the prize to charity. When most of us are giving to charity, we're giving a small piece of what we have to a charity. That winning you donated for the IJsselmeer, I suspect that was a large part of the money you had at the time.
Well, I wasn't very rich at that time, and I'm still not. But I did the IJsselmeer swim, and I asked money to help me raise funds for cancer research. And I think, but it's a long time. It was in 2004. I think eventually we raised like 30,000 euros or 20,000 euros or something like that. But it's a long time ago, so I'm not absolutely sure what the exact amount was. But it wasn't my own money; it was the money that he asked people to donate to help cancer research for. Oh, I think you're on mute.
You won the Olympic 10K. How significant was your world championship at 25K that year? For your confidence, for your ability to keep going? I mean, there's a big difference between 25K and 10K.
Yeah, well, it is a big difference. I knew I was capable of becoming world champion 25K. And I think the reason why I was capable of becoming world champion 25K one day was because the amount of competitors was less than for the 10K. The fastest swimmers were only focusing on the 10K, were coming from the swimming pool, were focusing on the 1500 meters, and they did not join the 25K. So that was the reason why I thought I had a good shot. And that eventually made me win the 25K. But that didn't tell a lot about the Olympic Games and the chances for those for that 10K.
So at 8 kilometers, you weren't saying to yourself, it's only 2K. I went 25K a few months ago. Keep up.
Yeah, so those 10K didn't feel long, but I always experienced that at a very strategic game with lots of slipstreaming, with lots of sparing energy, and try to have energy left for the last 400 meters. That worked out quite nice, but it wasn't at that moment of time, especially. It was not a challenge for me to finish those 10 kilometers.
Okay. You grew up in the Netherlands, close enough to France. There's a magic for the Tour de France in Europe, which every young boy will watch, and people will watch it for their whole lives. You also have in the Netherlands the 11 Cities Tour. Describe to people as a child what these events meant to you, how important they were. Then we'll get to the swim in a minute.
Yeah, well, the 11 city tour, it's like the Dutch Super Bowl, and it was held in 1997 for the last time. It's a speed skating tour, and it's 200 kilometers. And when that happens, that occurs, then the whole nation is just doing nothing besides watching that ice skating tour. So it's a real big thing. And it was held in 1997. And I did not know a lot about that at that time, but I was watching the television the whole day and was just surprised on the amount of people that were at that area and shouting for those speed skaters, and I really enjoyed that.
And this requires the canals to freeze to a certain depth, and it's also held in the north of the Netherlands. When I was in the Netherlands, my customers described it. It's they have their own language in Friesland, and they're pirates. It's a special place for the country.
It's absolutely. I think people from Friesland are so kind, are so realistic. Normally they are not really on the events. We in Holland, we say they're very nuchter. They're very down to earth. But when the 11 city tour is held, all the down on earth part is just thrown away, and they're getting so excited.
And these canals, what's the narrowest canal in meters?
I think around 1 or 1.5 meters.
So when you talk about spectators, you are right on the action. You know, the bank of the canal is, you can almost touch the skaters as they go by.
Absolutely.
You decided to avoid the ice, and you decided to do a swim. How did it come into your head? What was involved in planning it, and what were you thinking would happen?
Yeah, well, I thought it started with me thinking I want to raise more funds for cancer research. And then I thought about, well, then I have to think of something that gets the attention, gets some media attention, and then I can ask people to donate some money. And it has to be something that's really challenging, because I have to say, well, I gave it my all, and please give something as well. So I thought about swims I could do, and at first I thought maybe I could think about swimming real fast again. But I quickly decided that would not work, because, well, we have a guy in the Netherlands, Ferry Beertman, the Olympic champion in Rio 2016. And I knew that how much I would practice again, that he will always be faster. Even in his time now, and my best time, he's a lot faster than I am. So I had no chance of getting attention from swimming fast again. So the only option I had was, well, go for the long swim. And there's a lot of water in the Netherlands. We have the North Sea, we have the Waddeneilanden, we have nice rivers. So I was thinking what long swim I should do. And then I thought, well, there's just one famous tour, the 11 city tour. And the last time it was held in 1997. I remember those images, and I thought, well, that's the most famous tour we have. So that should be the tour I will swim. But at that moment, when I decided to swim that 11 city tour, I was not sure how long the tour was. So I drove back home from the swimming pool, and I was Googling the 11 city tour and how many kilometers. And then I noticed that it was 200 kilometers. So that scared me a little bit, because I never swam farther than 25 kilometers. But I thought, well, maybe if everything works out, maybe I can manage to swim 200 kilometers. And that's how it all started.
And how much help did you need? What did the crew look like?
Well, what really helped me was that I could I still knew all those coaches and all those physiotherapists and all those people who helped me win that Olympic gold medal. I still knew. So a lot of experts I got in contact again, and they quite helped me out. And that really helped. So, for instance, I used light therapy to go through those different time zones and to be fit in the morning and to have my maximum performance in the morning. And I used light therapy again doing my 200 kilometers to keep swimming and not fall asleep. So I had a very nice team, and eventually it worked out.
And eventually took how long?
Well, I think I had the idea. In 2016. I did my first attempt in 2018, and last year in 2019, I managed to swim that 200 kilometers.
How many hours?
74 hours. And at first, because there are no rules with swimming the 1150 tour. So I was able to make up the rules myself. But at first I thought, well, sleeping feels a bit like cheating, right? Because I want to swim non-stop. So in 2018, I slept for 40 minutes. I did a power nap, twice 20 minutes. But after 53 hours, I was started to see things that were not there. I was hallucinating, and my doctor that was on the boat was obligating me to stop. So we changed that a little bit. So eventually those 200 kilometers took 74 hours, and I cheated for 7 hours because I slept for 7 hours.
And was there any interest in the swim?
Yeah, there was some. I was very happy that there was, because eventually we wanted to raise as much funds as possible, and raising funds for cancer research, it helped when you have some media coverage. So it was quite a big thing in my country, and eventually the 2018 attempt, we raised 5 million euros for cancer research, and the 2019 attempt, almost 7 million. So today we raised more than 12 million euros for cancer research.
For anybody who doesn't know what a euro is, call it $14 million US, close enough. We've talked to a number of swimmers who have been raising money for charity their entire careers. There's a few people who've raised $1 million, a few people have raised more than 500,000, but the numbers are simply staggering. You were talking earlier about the interest in the coverage. Describe how the country reacted. Describe the television coverage, the reaction, the people watching in person.
Yeah. I think in the Netherlands there are more than 100,000 people diagnosed cancer every single year. More than 40,000 people die from cancer every single year. And that means that a lot of people can relate to that, unfortunately. And there were lots of people in Friesland with their own story, with their own reason that they were there. So Friesland was crowded. Some cities had to be closed because there were too many people around those canals, and they thought it was not safe anymore. There was the biggest Dutch television broadcast organization was broadcasting live for multiple hours. They set up a live stream, and at first they told me, well, we set on a live stream because maybe there will be some people interested. We do not think there will be lots of viewers, because who's interested in watching a guy swim for 3 days? And they put on that live stream. And after the first attempt, they were just shocked, and they told me, well, We do live streams on championships, Champions Leagues. We do live streams on Olympic Games. But the numbers that are watching this live stream was so much bigger. And I think, I'm not sure about the numbers by heart, but I think the amount of people that were watching the 2019 attempt were like 3 or 4 million or something, while in the Netherlands there are only live 16 million people. So it was quite a thing in my country.
What is in the future for Maarten?
Spending lots of time with my beautiful wife and 2 daughters, and I think I will be tended to set goals again and try to achieve those goals. Not sure what those goals will be. And hopefully I will continue to raise lots of funds for cancer research, because when I was 19, I had the luck to recover, but still a lot of people do not have that luck. And by more cancer research, we can increase their luck. And for the history I have, that feels like a very good thing to do.
Former world champion Stefan Lacan was on with us a few days ago, and he said that after his professional career was over, he decided to do the English Channel because he would tell people he was a marathon swimmer and he was a world champion, and they would say to him, "Did you ever swim the English Channel?" He said he got so tired of the question, he said, "I just go and swim the English Channel." Will we see you in the English Channel someday?
Well, I swam it up and down already as preparation. People will describe that I did that with a little bit of cheat because I was wearing a wetsuit. But I did that in 2016 or 17 as preparation for those for the 200 kilometer swim.
Trent's record can be taken?
No way. No, I can swim long now, but I'm not even close to the speed I was before. And you really need to have a lot of speed to break that record.
Maarten, I want to thank you very much for your time today. You have changed the sport. You have brought incredible honor and prestige on the sport. So thank you very much.
Very welcome. Thank you very much.